Hello and welcome to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly. Now you might notice that this doesn't quite match up the thumbnail of the video. Yes, this is in my room. Well, that's because this is the second time I have filmed this tonight. And I am not happy about that. But I guess the only one to blame is me. To give you an idea of why I refilmed this, I will now play a clip of the last one. Again, they even gave me a nice little compatriot to vote with it. I'll probably do some kind of voiceover dub for him. Maybe a 10:05, 10:10. But there was like 20 minutes of freaking trailer. Riveting, right? All of the noises. You got a really good audio sound of them cleaning the popcorn machine. Yeah. Shout out to Stadium 8 for letting me do that right after the showing of Mockingjay I just walked out of. But yeah, I couldn't use any of the footage on that one. I watched the whole thing and there was just no redeeming the audio. There was so much background noise. They wouldn't let me go down to the quiet space that I used for the Interstellar video. So I guess they wanted to keep an eye on me with a camera in a theater. Who would have thought? But yeah, so I have to refilm this, so apologies if it's a little cliff noted and if I get a little frustrated and if I'm not as funny as I usually am, although I haven't had any comments on that yet. So let's get started. Mockingjay, Part 1. I am really not liking that Part 1. Really not. Yeah. I don't like that they're splitting this into two movies for multiple reasons, and I'll get onto those. But let's focus on the good. The good in this film, very, very well acted on all fronts. There wasn't a single person's performance who seemed phoned in or just not giving it their all. Everybody was excellent. Shout out to Philip Seymour Hoffman, and in this video I actually said his name right. May he rest in peace for you. And yeah, so the acting is definitely on par with anything I've seen in the last little while. The setting, it picks up right after the last movie. She's literally still, Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence, is recovering inside the hospital after the last game still. She's finally getting out of bed and whatnot, and they're calling her in for meetings, telling her that they want her to be the face of the rebellion, and I want to say that again. But at first she refuses, and after seeing Peter on the screen, she decides to put out some demands. She wants the rescue of all of the other tributes, including PETA, and her sister gets to keep her cat, who is a fucking plot point in the later half of that movie. That damn cat. But yeah, and then basically everything you've seen in the trailers. They weren't very subtle with the trailers. I mean, you could at least leave a little bit of mystery behind it. Going on with the good, they take a little bit more of a background approach to this. It's not a lot of action and explosions, and there's little to no action inside the film, really. Everything that is shown is usually not shown. It's off screen over there while they're tensed up and talking about it. But yeah, it shows them trying to mold Katniss into the perfect role model for their revolution. And how did they do that? Well, they take it from the standpoint of recording a video like this. They've got a green screen behind her, futurized hologram green screen. They've got recorded scripts and everything. It turns out horrible, and it's hilarious as hell. And it's really nice to see comedy like that inside of a film like this. It's almost a rarity inside of a big action epic like this, inside of basically the last movie of the series. And before anybody says, but what about part 2? It's supposed to be one movie. They want you to think of it as one movie, so make it in a fucking one movie. But That's for the bad. And taking this back, it gives you a really good character analysis of Katniss, and really growing her character in a way that you didn't really think. Although, there's a bad side to that. I'll tie it all together when I talk about that. But they're showing more of the background stuff, and they realize that kind of stuff doesn't work. How do you do it? Well, you throw her inside of a bad situation, and you let her be herself. And that's what they do. They throw her into a bad situation, they show her the destruction of District 8, they show her the people in the hospitals, and she walks around and lets them inspire her. They start attacking the said hospital, she tries to defend it, and it doesn't do jack diddly shit. They still destroy the hospital, but she managed to shoot down that plane inside of the trailer. Yeah, that's all the action Katniss does in the movie. Literally. Sticking with the good. You know, actually getting this psychological profile of our main character is really, really engaging. I know a lot of people won't like that because it doesn't have as much action, but I liked the fact that they were actually showing that side of their character and not focusing on, I'm on female empowerment with a bow. So, yeah, it was very well done. It shows the conflict between her and Gale. Gale doesn't believe that she loves him anymore. And rightly so, she kind of doesn't. And it's really, really weird. Really. Really, 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 really. Well, going on with more of the good, they brought back more of the characters than I thought. The hairdress lady, Penny? No. Damn it, I'll put it in a box down here. But yeah, they bring her back and she's kind of funny inside of it. She tries to make a few jokes, but they fall flat because of the seriousness of other parts of this, of what's going on. So I'm not going to act like it was... She was trying to bring a lighter-hearted side, and she was giving her all, but it didn't necessarily play out. But it was really nice to see a character return that's not part of this stupid rebellion. And, what else is good? Focusing more on the good. This movie has a story arc. It does. It has a clear-cut beginning with a goal announced in the beginning, middle working towards the goal, climax, and resolution where they fix that goal. That goal being saving the other tributes and PETA. And that's basically where it ends, is after they save them and shit happens. I don't want to give that one too big of a spoiler, but there's a lot there that's really, really good. The end shot kind of phoned into the movie. Another thing that was really good, the music. The music in this movie was really, really engaging. Normally with these finishing up of a trilogy or a book series, they try to do something grand and epic. You have a lot of heavy orchestrations, you know, Lord of the Rings type-esque, big bombastic, this is the end type thing. Not so much inside this one. A lot of the music is very, very small, sextets, maybe quintuplets. It's very, very spaced out. There's only so many players, and they all play a lot more soloistically. There's a lot of violin, there's a lot of flute, and professional recorder, not the little plastic toy, but actual professional. This sounds nice. You get a lot of really, really cool solo lines going over a lot of things. They came up with a really, really weird Hangman song that kind of becomes the anthem of the revolution. They illustrate that when it becomes the background music, but the characters are singing the melody with the background music, and it's really pumping. I'll give it that. The music was amazing. I believe the name was Jake Nathan who did the music. I'm not entirely sure that's accurate. I stayed for the credits, but I didn't get a good look at that one. So I will look it up, and I will put the name down here for sure. So what else was there that was good? Now that I'm thinking about it. now that I've had more time, and this is the second time I've done this freaking video. Nothing really stands out as no after those ones. So let's go into the bad. And my God. Number one thing that is holding this film back. 2 words. Part 1. There is no reason for this to be be split into 2 parts. None at all. To the movie's credit, they actually did expand on certain things. Although it did feel pandered at times, it never went into the part of, oh my God, just fucking end. It was more of the, they let you know a lot more about the worlds. They showed the rebellion in other things. That's like the only action you get in this entire movie, is seeing the other rebellions going through it. And the lumberyard one was kind of cool, although one thing I did notice about the rebellion, good God, people, it's not that hard to get a weapon or some body armor. There's a big body count inside of this, from people running straight at people with guns. Now, showing the depravity of the situation, I completely understand. But really? There were so many other ways this could happen. Anyway, going on, as I said, it does pander itself out. Those scenes of really cool action and things are only there to make the runtime of the movie longer. A lot longer. And it really holds the movie back. This movie was better than I thought. I thought it was going to be complete and utter shit because of this. But it had a clear-cut story arc, and it set the goal, along with a teaser, setting up part 2. But see, that's the thing. You didn't need that. You could have done all of this, cut out all those pandered moments, and then we would have... It might have been a 3-hour flick. I don't care. You could have put these 2 movies together, 3 hours, done. I just sat through Interstellar. I can sit through a 3-hour movie, especially if it is one that I really like. And my background on these movies, I did not read the books. I watched the movies, and I became hooked to the movies. They're really good, and maybe one day I will read the books, a possible review book compared to movie bash off, but one day I might. Right now, I don't care. And this movie is not friendly to anybody who is not initiated. Unlike some of the Harry Potters or any of the Lord of the Rings movies that clearly tell you the stakes and where they're at the beginning, give you brief recaps. This doesn't do any of that. This is not friendly to those not initiated. And then they start throwing terms around like Vox. Yes, I know what the Vox are. After many people telling me and doing my own research after getting hooked to the movies, I know what they are, and I know why they were cut out from the movies before. But they start introducing them, and people who had the Vox treatment put onto them. But unless you actually know what the hell I'm talking about, you're going, what the fuck is this? And that is the reaction a lot of people had in the movie. I heard grunts and things behind me. Wait, what's a Vox? I don't know. Maybe it's something else. And the inclusion of the characters, I understand, at this point, was inevitable, but it was kind of engaging. They went into a kind of an explanation about it, where they tell you that his tongue, where the guy that had the Vox treatment put onto him had his tongue cut out, but that's it. There's no explanation why. The Vox have their eyes and tongue gouged out, so that because they spoke against the Capitol, they can neither speak nor see lies anymore. They can only hear the truth. Which, the truth is, this government's corrupt and needs to go to hell. It's not even subtle. How nobody in the Capitol gets it, I don't know, but then again, I don't read the books, and nor do I care. I'm more of the setup and the situation, and how the characters react to get out of it. Which is another good thing that they do, because for very little action that's in this series, this movie, what little action is very well done. And what is shown is really, really good. The climax is very, very intense when they're actually going to save the tributes. They are spamming the Capitol's network with their own propaganda. Why are they doing this? So that it floods their system, making it so that none of their systems work. Not their communications, not their alarms, not their defense networks. None of it works because they're broadcasting this. While they're doing this virtual smokescreen, they send a team in to extract the tributes who are all being held inside of a prison underneath the tribute tower from the second movie. Which they used the same set and everything. Kudos for actually keeping continuity there. Most movies and things would not. I mean, if you want proof of that, how many times did they change the castle inside of Harry Potter? But they actually use the same building and set for that when they're doing their escape. Now, the problem with that one is that they didn't go enough Mission Impossible, where there was a lot of silent takedowns and everything. No, they just take a knockout grenade and throw it into the room, shut the door, wait. Okay, then go. And you see bodies of people laying on the ground. Why not have them, like, sneak up on a guy and, choke him out, or bash him on the head and knock him out? Then show the smoke grenades. Why not do that? They didn't. But anyway, you see the tension, especially when everything starts to go wrong. The Capitol starts getting control of their system back. So they come up with an idea that Katniss will project herself on the system. And if Snow's listening, he will make sure that system stays open so they can have a talk. So they do it, and sure enough, he gets on the system. And they put a lot of long pauses. Again, they pander these scenes out a little bit, but in these scenes, it works. Why? Because it raises tension. Is he going to answer? I don't know. Is he going to answer? I don't know. I don't know. Don't answer me. Just watch the film. And that's one of the things that I really like, is that they showed the tension there, even though they didn't show the action. And I'd be lying if I said that I was happy with the way that the resolution happened. Yeah, everyone's basically gone crazy. It's the end of Evangelion all over again. No, don't kill the main characters. Non-spoiler, or spoiler, they don't kill anybody, but there's several attempts. But everyone's crazy at the end of the movie, and it's not the happiest place to end part one. Again, this could have been a great middle of another movie, and then you have an entire setup for the rest of the movie in part two. Now we have to wait a fucking year for this? To get this resolution? Why? Okay, I know that this is a very graphic example, but it is the perfect and most relatable example of what's wrong with splitting these one movie into two for the money reasons. Money reasons aside, let's face it, we're all businessmen. That's it. But here's the problem. You are an artistic organization. You try to create works of entertainment. And it's not entertaining when you cut these movies in half. As I said, my really, really bad analogy. This is like meeting the most beautiful girl in the world. Well, for all of us guys out there. And she invites us back to her place. We have a good time, we have some laughs, and things start to escalate. We start to finally get going, if you know what I mean. And right as the sex gets hot and steamy, right as you're going to hit the perfect moment, she gets up, pushes you off, and says, "Alright, come back in a year and we'll finish this." Are you kidding me? And that's my reaction to it. The biggest detriment to this movie is the fact that it's put into two parts. And there's no amount of good filmmaking that will fix that. At all. And I really do mean that. So, to wrap this all up, long story short, if you're a fan of this franchise, there's a lot to like here. And you will want to see this, especially in theaters. There's a lot of really cool effects in theaters. If you're not already a fan, do not start with this movie. This is not kind to anybody in the series, or anybody who's not initiated to the series. And I can't recommend that you go see this in theaters first. Go rent the other films. Go to Netflix. Go to that. If you were even remotely interested, watch the other films first. If you don't like them, you will not like this last movie. Especially considering that there is so much that's obviously cut to make room for the next film. So, yes. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see another film this week. If I end up going to anything that I haven't already done a vlog on, I'll probably put it inside of this series. But until next time, see you later.